You know what keeps going through my head? Where's my sandwich?
Right here at Subway. Power up with the low-fat smokehouse barbecue chicken.
Given how the MCU has been around for well over 15 years now, it's safe to say they've done pretty much everything they can to ensure that it's a household name. Whether it be from the billions of dollars they make at the box office, or for today's topic, Hawkeye Doritos. Because over the past decade and a half, Marvel Studios has collaborated with pretty much every brand imaginable to create experiences themed to everyone's favorite heroes and Captain Marvel. I mean, given just how huge the MCU has become, it makes sense they try to get their name out there in every way possible, whether it ends up making sense or not. So I thought let's take a look and see some of the most wacky and iconic promotions the MCU ever had. And I'm gonna be mainly prioritizing the actual movies themselves, because there's no way in hell I'm bringing up Secret Invasion again, but there'll be a few random extra inclusions here and there. But without any further ado, let's just hop right into it. So I thought we should probably just go in order of every film's release. So of course we'll be starting out with the first Iron Man. And why don't we start out with the LG Phones campaign. Since back in 2008, you could go to this special website called InsideTheSuit.com, and you could be entered for a chance to win this bad boy. An Iron Man themed LG phone with an 18-karat gold backing, as shown in this absolute crust of a video, which was uploaded all the way back in 2008, where this lovely lad shows off the phone and how Tony stank and dank the phone truly is. And I love this video so much because he says things like how it has 3G and 4 gigabytes of memory and how you're able to surf the web while listening to your music. I mean, I gotta get me one of these. I'm a bit confused though because I was told by this article from back in 2008 that there was only 20 ever made, but at the same time I found this photo from some weird jewelry auction site that comes with a certificate of authenticity saying that at minimum 100 were made, and this one can be yours for a mere $2,500. But I don't know, maybe they were fudging the numbers as like a Ponzi scheme or something. But anyway, the actual campaign featured this website, and putting in the code LGSuit, you could then enter the site, which had a bunch of different stuff you could do, which let you enter the sweepstakes to win the phone. I say this hypothetically though, because using the Wayback Machine, you still need to install Adobe Flash to use any of the site, and something tells me that shit ain't happening. So I'm assuming that this site just had a bunch of little fun games and animations and stuff that would tell you about the lore of Iron Man and get you hyped for the film, as well as LG products, but still really cool looking back. As well, for Iron Man 1, we have to talk about the legendary Burger King promotion right now, since it had this absolutely baller commercial where this dad of a standard middle-class civilian family creates his own Mark I armor, using parts of the grill and having the absolute time of his life. Never change middle-class suburban white dad from the 2007 Burger King Iron Man commercial. But then Iron Man soars through the sky and slams down right in front of Burger King, creating the coolest shot literally ever. I mean, this rivals the fan-four-stick Denny's image any day of the week. As for the toys themselves though, they were pretty cool. You had stuff like an Iron Man that would balance on a little cityscape, Ironmonger, which had this little simple wind-up function, the Mark II, which would have this little fire that would come out of the shoes and would glow red under light, then this Tony, which you had to pull on his Transformers kibble backpack, and then he'd do this really goofy-ass arm movement. Bro looks like he's trying to flutter jump or something. Then these crappy Iron Man glasses, which are just like, okay, whatever. You ain't the Mario Kart 8 Mario visor, shut up.
I'm watching Super Mario Logan while I'm filming this, by the way. I want you people to know this.
But then finally, you had this buildable Iron Man, which wasn't really a figure, more so it was just a bunch of pieces of flat plastic, which would combine into a bigger, flatter piece of plastic. And oh my god, he's doing the pose, it's just like the commercial. No! These were so neat for the time they came out. Like, I mean, back in the day, this was just the standard. A decent amount of paint, good likenesses to the characters, and fun gimmicks that set them apart from standard action figures. I mean, of course, now it's an absolute godsend compared to the dog urine we get for fast food toys at this point. Also, I like the fact this promotion exists because Tony literally eats Burger King in the movie. This was planned for years. Burger King is the backbone of the MCU. But anyway, while we're on the topic of Burger King, there's some others I want to bring up, like for example, the Incredible Hulk. I bring this up not really for the toys since they're okay, I guess. They're not really that accurate to the movie since they have this sort of cartoony looking art style. They have fun gimmicks like this Hulk that has a puff out chest, and they even made a figure of the girl female lady from the movie whose name I don't remember. But I bring up this promotion because of the awesome commercial.
I don't know how to defend myself.
And that's about it. Now we can move on to the Iron Man 2 Burger King promotion. Yes! Which, to be fair, I think is objectively a lot worse than the first one. A lot of these toys aren't as accurate and are kind of mid. Like, you have the Hammer drones, and they're just like lime green. I don't know why. However, among all the light up Black Widow bracelets and repulsor blast necklaces,
Is there a belt buckle?
for this promotion, you could get this, a buildable figure of the Mark VI, which towers at 7 inches tall. For a fast food toy promotion, that's fucking massive. And plus, he looks way too good for this price point. Like, he has a really nice amount of detail and paint. And he even comes with a play feature that when you click the arc reactor, his entire body will just fall apart. Not again, damn it! I mean, like, Isn't this kind of grim as a play feature? I mean, I guess you could say it's just like the armor and Tony's not in there. And I guess it's kind of like when the Mark 42 gets hit by the bus and stuff, maybe. Even though that wasn't a thing yet. I mean, it's still really cool, though. Also, that was it. I'm not buying any more fast food toys for this video. Also, on the topic of Iron Man 2, we gotta talk about the Dr. Pepper promotion, which has this commercial which features a random-ass dude as well as Stan Lee dusting off the Hall of Armor, and then the random dude gets suited up when Jarvis mistakes him for Tony, and he gets transformed into a Dr. Pepper vending machine all Tusk style. But the actual promotion itself was pretty in-depth, with stuff like Iron Man 2 and its various characters being plastered all across cans and boxes, as well as a bunch of sweepstakes and giveaways for limited edition merchandise featuring both Iron Man 2 and Dr. Pepper respectively, as well as even crazier stuff like a whole ass mini refrigerator featuring Iron Man, which I unironically really like because it gives off that retro futuristic Stark Expo vibe. And it can be yours right now on eBay for a mere $400. Pay up. However, the best part of this promotion was hands down this. This is a case of the aforementioned Dr. Pepper Iron Man 2 cans. However, it's modeled after the iconic Mark V suitcase. I mean, this is just the coolest of promotional merch for the film. Something super cool, but also super specific to the film itself. So it's both a baller promotion for the film, as well as being a really cool thing to look back on. Though, to be fair, I'm not entirely sure how this thing was distributed, since I've seen various listings for it with various different backstories. Some say it was a store display case, others say it was used for Dr. Pepper sales representatives, and I even found one with a certified signature from Stan Lee on it. I mean, maybe this was some kind of giveaway prize or something. Either that or some guy just stood in line at San Diego Comic-Con for like 5 hours holding his case of Dr. Pepper to get signed. Moving on to the first Thor film though, I think we should most definitely bring up this commercial, which I absolutely adore. It starts out with some generic piano music and voiceover, talking about how beautiful and elegant the all-new Akira TL is, and as we get more shots we can hear screaming and shooting in the background, as well as getting a peek throughout the windows, up until the Destroyer comes out and just
And it's the official vehicle of the movie Thor.
Moving on to Captain America, the First Avenger, we have this amazing commercial from Dunkin' Donuts for this one, and it's one of the most creative and memorable I have ever seen. This lady's dog runs away and enters a construction zone, so this worker wearing red steps in to save the day, blocking shots from a nail gun with the lid of a trash can, getting blue paint all over the top of his shirt and his helmet, and saving the dog while reuniting it with its owner, all while looking fly as hell, as he never once drops his all-new Captain America Cherry Colada only at Dunkin', and it's just such a creative commercial that I adore so much. I love this type of marketing. It's so creative and funny, since obviously they weren't going to pay Chris Evans to appear in a Dunkin' Donuts commercial, so they improvised in literally the best way imaginable. This is top tier. God bless you, marketing team from Dunkin' Donuts in 2011. Where's the Marvel Legends of this guy, Hasbro, huh? Going back though, the actual promotion itself in Dunkin' Donuts was pretty awesome. You had this awesome three-way Slurpee thingy, which had 3 entirely separate flavors, as well as this very patriotic donut. Very nice.
Damn! Try cup, we about to try this bitch out.
On to the Avengers now. As you could assume, this film had a massive marketing budget, like good old Dr. Pepper coming back to reprise their role, with this set of cans that combine into one big image. Dr. Pepper out here never missing, God bless you, Dr. P. But I also found this promotion from Walmart, which advertised the DVD release of the film, alongside an ad for Signature Select Pizza, which had these limited edition boxes showing off 4 main Avengers in the film. Since, yeah, that's something you're gonna notice a lot with the marketing on this one. Clint and Nat were just kind of shafted in the marketing and the toys. Lil Billy don't give a fuck about Arrow Man and Green Man right there. But anyway, these boxes had this neat art style, which did a good job incorporating the fact that they were on pieces of cardboard, with all these thick outlines and bright colors, and the fact that each hero was designated to a specific type of pizza. Very neat if I do say so myself. Also, this is kind of unrelated, but I found out they did the exact same thing with TASM 1. So you had the TASM 1 suit alongside the lizard on boxes of pizza, and I can only assume that eating the lizard one would turn you into a grotesque Cronenberg scaly monster. However, moving on to the next film, Iron Man 3, we get hands down the greatest promotion in cinematic history. A promotion so beautiful it brings a tear to my soulless husk of an eye. That, of course, being the Iron Man 3 Subway promotion. Now, this promotion was truly a godsend in the way that it gave us this beautiful commercial, which you already saw in the beginning of the video, but I'm gonna play it again because I want to.
The armor has sustained damage. Power dropping below 5%.
You know what keeps going through my head? Where's my sandwich?
Right here at Subway. Power up with the low-fat smokehouse barbecue chicken, simmered in sweet and smoky barbecue sauce. Surprisingly 6 grams of fat. You don't want to miss it. Or Marvel's Iron Man 3 in theaters May 3rd. Subway. Eat fresh.
Like, I find it so funny how they just took the line from 2 scenes later, where he asked the kid for the tuna sandwich and they just stuck it here, but it works so perfectly. But as for the actual promotion itself, there was all kinds of merchandise in the actual Subway stores. Like, for example, the kids' meals that Subway sells now came with Iron Man 3 limited edition bags, since that was just kind of the thing that Subway did back then instead of giving out toys. You got this little reusable bag for lunch, I guess. I had the Fergus one from Brave. But this one was where they peaked because it came with the Mark 42 on them. As well, you could get these 2 different types of gift cards, featuring promotional art from the film alongside the Subway logo. These have got to be top tier collectibles in my eyes. As well, I found this shirt that has an arc reactor on one side, as well as the slogan, "Power Up with Spinach" on the back. There's actually a listing for this right now on Depop for 15 bucks. So if you want to experience this masterclass of cinema and spinach, you know what to do. As well, the website for Subway had an entire Iron Man 3 section, which apparently included real Flash games that you could play featuring the Invincible Iron Man. Man, oh man, what I would do to play the Iron Man 3 Subway Flash games right about now. No wonder the world's gone to shit. You know, fun fact, this Subway right here has been robbed like twice. Moving on though, I found another crazy-ass Iron Man 3 promotion. That being for the one and only Skype. Man, this really was 2013. But TLDR, you could go on Twitter and nominate your everyday hero, which could have been like a family member, a friend, etc. And the person with the most attention, I guess, would win a bunch of free stuff, like a Skype-enabled TV chief. And according to this marketing site, which seems to be the team behind the whole promotion, you could also win this t-shirt, which again has the arc reactor on the front, but on the back it's the goddamn Skype logo. This is top tier merchandise. And then there's this random image attached to the document. Like, there is no context or explanation as to what this is. This is just like a photo of like a virtual house with Iron Man 3 all over it. What could this mean? However, crazier than all that somehow is this video that they produced, which shows 4 different families who currently have loved ones overseas in the military. And they invited the families to the world premiere of Iron Man 3 and set up a Skype call between the families and their loved ones at the Iron Man 3 world premiere, and they even got some of the actors to talk to the soldiers. Like, imagine you've been away from home for several years. You're on the other side of the globe. You have seen things mortal men can only fear, and they sit you down after a hard day's work, and you get to talk to Don Cheadle. God bless America. Also, one extra thing I found while researching is that apparently at Disney World in Orlando, when the movie was coming out, they had a full-on wrap on the monorail that decked it out for Iron Man 3 branding. I mean, this is just beautiful. I would enjoy school if this was the book, this was the uniform, this was the bus, and this was the teacher. Moving on to everybody's favorite film though, Thor: The Dark World. I wanted to bring up these hilarious bumpers they premiered on Comedy Central for the film's debut, where it has Tom Hiddleston as Loki, reading out stories to a bunch of young kids, asking stuff like who their favorite superhero is, to which they reply with the mighty Thor.
"Well, Mr. Disrespect, I don't think you should be talking to me."
Why would you say that?
But Tom, of course, brings his A-game for this legendary role, but it's so funny to see him try to relate and get validation from actual children. It seems like something very in character for him that he would actually do. These ads are just great, definitely top tier. And plus, it's honestly kind of crazy because these kids are probably like 40 now, dear lord. Adding this part in later, I found the exact same 2 kids on an AT&T commercial. There's some nepotism or something for these 2 little shit. Moving on to Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I couldn't really find much on this one, besides this pretty funny commercial, which has these 2 guys talking about how cool Captain America is, as they go to use the elevator to get to work. But unbeknownst to them, the elevator fight from the movie is currently taking place, and when they open the door, we get this great moment.
Hey, we'll catch the next one.
Marvel's Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Then on to Guardians of the Galaxy. Gotta be honest, I couldn't find much on this one either. I don't know if these 2 just didn't get marketed as hard, or they just been lost to the sands of time, or I didn't find them because I suck at researching. Though I did find this article for upcoming toys at the time, and included was this banner image, and when you crop the whole thing and it's just this top left portion, it becomes very funny to me. Moving on to Age of Ultron though, this film is in no short supply of advertising. Like for example, the Marvel Movie Marathon. At select AMC and Regal cinemas across the country, they were offering a 27-hour-long experience where you watch every single MCU film starting with Iron Man, all in one sitting. Starting on April 29th, the event would go into May 1st, the official release date of Age of Ultron, which was the final film shown at the event. So you would be watching every single MCU film, all the way up to the one that came out while you were watching all the MCU films. But if you survived, you would receive a medallion of the Avengers logo, proving that you did it. This is one of the craziest things, like, Like, ever? Like, who would be mad enough to sit through every single one of these movies and then whatever you'd call the Incredible Hulk, and then watch the brand new film on top of that? Like, wouldn't you be tired and, like, wanting to die at this point? You wouldn't really be able to enjoy Ultron, would you? This is absolutely insane in the membrane. But you want to know the craziest part? This was the second time they did it. Yeah, they did this once before for Avengers. Jesus Christ, like what the hell? What madman did this twice? And hey, guess what? Yeah, they did it again. Twice. They did it for Infinity War and they did it for Endgame. Imagine sitting in a theater for 60 hours. What is that, like 2 weeks or something? Jesus Christ, like, there is a reason the medallion's $80 on eBay. This guy worked his ass off for it. Moving on, though, to another Age of Ultron marketing classic, Doritos. As they really went hard with their Ultron Doritos, I do declare. There was simple stuff like the characters being put on the bags, as well as having these big displays in stores, which is just, like, the hardest shit ever. And I actually found, like, 50 billion different concept art versions of this online. So here's a big collage of them, I guess. As well, they also gave us a limited edition flavor of Dorito, being Ultron themed and made out of pure black, but it seems this one did not release in the US for some reason, which is bullcrap because I want to know what Ultron tastes like. As well, I found this random set photo of Chris Evans holding a Dorito. I don't know what the context to this is. I don't want to know what the context of this is. This is awesome. And of course, for Age of Ultron, there's gotta be a Dr. Pepper promotion, which all look really cool since they have their own aesthetics and backgrounds going on. Plus, Hulk and Ultron are on bigger cans, which is fitting. Oh, and I lied, there's also Age of Ultron Cheez-Its I wanted to talk about. They're cool. I lied again, there's also this really funny cookie jar that I found. Okay, that's it, I swear, I'm done now. Wait, hold on, they made Tasm Cheez-Its. Then on to Ant-Man, there's of course the iconic poster for the film, where you have Scott in a completely white Despicable Me credits background, and you can only really see him if you squint your eyes. It's such an effective and cool poster that really catches your eye when you see it compared to stuff like, I don't know, what came out in summer 2015. Wait a minute, Minions, yes! As well, though, they had a bunch of these little tiny billboards and ads installed in public places in Australia, which is just so genius, and I love it so much. The concept of this film is so simple that the marketing like this was just so ungodly effective, and it can just get so creative. Like, that's not even it, because over in London, they had a bunch of these tiny movie tickets scattered across public walkways and landmarks, which if you were to find one, you could go to a participating theater and they'd exchange them for 2 tickets to see Ant-Man, which is just awesome. And plus, they had these 2 little Ant-Man statues placed in spots as well, like this Ant-Man in Yellow Jacket who are fighting against this pole, which is on its side because it's been dented and bent, which is just genius. And this little tiny Scott riding Antony, this is hands down the best promotion we've seen yet, second best. On to Civil War, however, we gotta talk about the epic Pizza Hut promotion, which saw the limited edition boxes featuring Cap and Tony on them, and not just some generic full body image. It makes them look way more high-end than they really are. This would be so neat to own nowadays, honestly. And plus, on their website, you could vote for either Team Cap or Team Iron Man, and according to this screenshot at the time, it seems Cap was decimating in the polls, solidifying him as the Pizza Hut fanbase's true rep. As well, I want to bring up the Captain America Civil War cereal, which was your generic Lucky Charms Mario cereal kind of thing, with the weird granny pieces as well as the red and blue shield marshmallows. However, the box went so unbelievably hard, since you had both Tony and Cap cut off, but when you got 2 boxes next to each other, it made a whole image. This was just wild. They gotta bring back themed cereals like this. I want my Minions Crunch, god damn it! Moving on to Doctor Strange, I found this promotional umbrella from Europe when the film came out, and I find it very funny. What else is there? I think that's about it. What do you need besides your European limited edition promotional 2016 Doctor Strange umbrella? Then onto Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We ought to talk about the promotional interactive Doritos bag. Yeah, that's right, Marvel's back at it again with their Doritos. And this one was a special edition bag for $30 on Amazon, and it was a giant bag themed after Quill's cassette player from the Benatar, and inside would be a miniature bag with the same art on it. However, the rest of the bag was a working music player where you could plug in the included headphones into the bag itself, and by pressing on the reset buttons, it would actually play the licensed songs from the film's soundtrack. This was absolutely insane that this would even happen or like ever be a thing. Like, what corporate think tank just thought, yeah, let's make a Dorito bag that plays Mr. Blue Sky? And it didn't even stop there because the Doritos logo on the bag lit up, and it came in a super premium box and everything. It is such an odd thing looking back, and I don't understand how it came to fruition, but I'm very glad it did. Also, while I was researching this, I found out they had a limited edition flavor for Guardians 2 Doritos that were green, and they were called Supernova. I'm going to be real, this render of Drax on the bag makes me think he put rat poison in them or something. Then onto one of my favorite films ever, Spider-Man Homecoming. There was something that was made for this movie that eclipses almost everything else here, that being the NBA promotional video. Yeah, they made a short film to correlate with the LeBron James channel, which starts out with Tony and Happy getting ready for the big game night party. And by Tony and Happy, I mean Tony and motherfucking Happy. Because yeah, they got all the actors to be in this. Like all of them. They had to have paid RDJ at least 200 milli for this easy. But Tony asks Happy to get the guest list ready, including Peter, who's ecstatic about going to watch the NBA Finals with Tony, and cut to the Avengers Tower. Peter arrives on the scene, and is immediately sent back out to get snacks for Tim Duncan, who is a basketball player according to Google. But on the way, Peter goes through some antics like stopping a robbery, getting spotted by Stan Lee, and most importantly of all, running into the one and only DJ Khaled, leading to the greatest interaction in fiction. Like he even says the iconic line.
Another one. Another one. Another one.
I gotta go. I wanna watch the game. Keep the change!
And when Tom finally gets back to Avengers Tower, Magic Johnson shows up, and Peter finally gets his saltine crackers to Tim Duncan, and finds out that Tony isn't even there. He's just at the real game, and the TV legit just says genius billionaire playboy philanthropist, which is amazing. And then when Happy learns that Peter didn't get his change, the ad ends. Like, my god, I have never seen a promotional video that has this high of a production budget. I mean, I know Super Bowl ads exist and all, but how many commercials have Robert Downey Jr., Magic Johnson, Tim Duncan, Jon Favreau, DJ Khaled, and motherfucking Spider-Man in them? Like, dear lord, was it just in like the fine print of the actors' contracts or something? Like, oh yeah, by the way, you gotta show up to film a promotional video for the NBA or whatever. But even besides all that, the ad itself is just great. It's got really great writing and interactions, and everybody's just so in character, and it's so ungodly memorable. This is just crazy. It feels like an alternate timeline. I mean, look at this behind-the-scenes picture. Look at it. This is not real. This is AI deepfake. It has to be. On to Thor Ragnarok, gonna be honest again. Couldn't find much here, and I'm not really sure Team Thor counts as marketing, since it's kind of its own piece of media. Like, I don't think it counts if it has its own specific page on Disney+. What else is there? Oi, Huey, Eradon took me son and killed my bloody wife. Black Panther credit card. There's a Lexus X Black Panther promotional banner on eBay right now for $175. You know, it be like that sometimes. Yeah, I'm gonna be real. I'm pretty sure that when an Avengers movie's about to come out, the two movies before just get kind of shafted. Like, these films didn't really seem to get the biggest of marketing compared to some others, and they had some other cutbacks. But now on to the greatest film ever made, Avengers Infinity War, which we got the legendary Geico commercial, where you have the iconic Geico lizard interacting with Earth's mightiest heroes, only for it to be revealed that he was talking to Marvel Legends figures the whole time, which I find very relatable. But speaking of commercials, we also gotta talk about the Rocket Mortgage ad, which was a 30-second commercial with this random lady walking out of a building, and where she's completely distracted by how amazing Rocket Mortgage is. She doesn't even realize all the battling and chaos around her, and then Doctor Strange opens up a portal to her new home, thanks to Rocket Mortgage. It's very goofy, you know. But like, am I the only one who thinks that these kind of commercials are just like, really funny? Not on their own, but like, out of all the movies to have this jovial ad, it's the one where the bad guy wins and destroys half of all life in the universe. I mean, obviously they were gonna promote this movie as just another superhero movie, but for me personally, I can't really look at these ads without just laughing my ass off because of the ending of the movie. Did Rocket Mortgage Lady survive the blip or not? Something very personal to me that I have to bring up though, are the Infinity War Ziploc bags. I mean, these things were just the hypest shit back in the day. You had all these characters on your lunch, and it would make school just that little bit less hell-inducing. Like, I distinctly remember there being 4 different designs: Thanos, Gamora, Tony, and Strange, and I remember them being a very big highlight of my youthful innocence. As well, I found these Coca-Cola cans from back in 2018, which have these amazing designs. They're just these simple blocky outlines of the characters' heads, but the eyes are all made out of different items and characteristics of them. Like, for example, you have Iron Man here, whose eyes are made out of the Mark 50 flying in different directions, or Cap, whose eyes are made out of his shield being thrown, or Nat's one eye being a Black Widow spider. They're just so cleverly designed, and I love the level of effort they put into these. They could have easily just done some simple image of the characters, but they went the full mile. I don't see Dr. Pepper doing this. I'm sorry, baby girl, I take it back. Which, speaking of this promotion, it goes hand in hand with the next film, Ant-Man and the Wasp, which gave us this can that has an ant recreating the 2 eyes on both Scott and Hope's helmets. Very neat. But the main thing they tried to market with this film was Giant Man, which is odd because he was already in Civil War, but like, I mean, okay, it's whatever. Giant Man's cool. They had these billboards with his head poking out, which is pretty neat. But other than that, this film doesn't even get close to topping the original's marketing. But another thing I want to bring up is the iconic Marvel Coke ad. But you may be thinking, how does this relate to Ant-Man and the Wasp? I thought it was just a generic ad. Well, that may be true, and it's also true that it came out 2 years before this movie, and it was a commercial for Super Bowl 50, and it has literally nothing to do with this film whatsoever. However, you see, I didn't know where the fuck to put this thing, so it's going right here for now, Buster. It's only a minute long and focuses on Scott breaking into Bruce Banner's lab and taking a succulent can of Coca-Cola Mini, and after Bruce finds out, he transforms into the Hulk and bum rushes Scott, who tries to make his getaway and is eventually cornered, so Scott's forced to give up the can, but Hulk's fat fingers are too big to open it, so Scott helps him out and drinks a little drop like an ant, which is amazing, and the Hulk gets to finally enjoy his Coca-Cola, ending the ad. This one's such a good ad for just Marvel in general. It does a good job at showcasing the personality of two of their fan favorite characters, and it's just this little tiny slice of life bit that feels right out of a comic book, and it's not themed to anything ever, which is very surprising for a Marvel ad. Plus the production budget here is really good. Like, I'm not even joking, this ad looks better than a lot of Marvel's Disney Plus slop.
This is a leader one.
Very good ad indeed. On to everybody's favorite, Captain Marvel. Yeah, there ain't really much for this one that I could find either. I think Brie Larson just kind of existing in general was the driving force for everybody knowing this movie existed. I'm gonna be real, I'm pretty sure Marvel's marketing team just realized they don't even need to try in this era. Like, the Marvel Studios intro was what was putting butts in seats. If Captain Goddamn Marvel can make $1 billion, then I think their jobs are kind of done for them. They just genuinely did not have to try at all during this era. It's genuinely hilarious looking back. And now we've reached the climax. The biggest superhero film of all time, Avengers Endgame. Let's get right into it. After I mention some other things. Yeah, no, we're taking a detour and looking at the Sony universe of Marvel characters, or SUMC for short, starting with the iconic, the breathtaking, the amazing Venom 2018, which gave us this amazing bottle of brisk iced tea, which was a special flavor called Dark Cherry Limeade. However, the significant importance of this drink goes far beyond the simple composition. Nah, this drink was special due to the fact that it was the first time we ever got a look at Venom's design for the film. I mean, this is just beautiful. Luckily enough, if you were a movie influencer during this era, there was a good chance you would have gotten sent this, a promotional case of the brisk, which was completely in-universe themed and was supposed to be sent by the movie's bad guy. You know, the human guy who becomes Riot in 6 months. But the coolest part was that the drink itself came inside this makeshift symbiote containment capsule, which is just like, you know, the hypest shit ever. Such a cool little promotion and a neat thing to have nowadays. It's the same kind of thing as the Bumblebee movie VHS. They knew these things were too cool for public consumption, they had to limit it. Streets and stores would have been burned down in order to get the Frisk symbiote capsule. As well though, we of course have to talk about Jimmy Kimmel Live. Because they had Eminem do this whole ass video where he would sing the ear-blessing tune of Venom to everybody watching at home as he made his way up to the top of the Empire State Building. And it's admittedly pretty cool, but like, it's not even him singing, they just lip-sync the audio. And it's oddly confusing because like, they went through all this trouble to get the goddamn Empire State Building ready for this. They couldn't give the guy a speaker and let him perform it live. As well, for some reason, they lit up the whole building red and blue. That's Spider-Man colors, you nitwit. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I know this is peak and all, but like, there was so many missed opportunities here. What the hell? Eminem had nothing to do with this, though. It was all Jimmy Kimmel's fault. Moving on to Let There Be Carnage, however, we gotta bring up the G Fuel, Venom's Black Ooze, and Carnage's Red Ooze. Please look that up. And I was gonna try to get some to do a taste test for the video, but holy hell, I ain't paying $90 for Carnage cum. Also, while we're on the topic of Let There Be Carnage, I have to talk about the fact that I found this video of a Times Square billboard playing the trailer for Let There Be Carnage right next to an ad for Paw Patrol the Mighty movie. Mommy, I want to see that one. Okay, little Billy. Oh boy, I can't wait for the movie to start, Mommy.
I got a family.
As for Morbius, I mean, it got G Fuel. Clearly the marketing didn't work. They used the tagline of a new Marvel legend. If I had a nickel for every time they used the phrase Marvel legend on completely unrelated pieces of official Marvel material, I'd have 3 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened 3 times. Rest in peace, Morbius Funko Pops that got canceled in the crossfire. You'll forever be in my heart. And on to the one and only Madam Web. Just like its big brother Venom, the design of the main protagonist got leaked on a beverage months before it was originally supposed to be shown off. This time on Chinese ocean spray cranberry juice. You know, it just kinda be like that sometimes. And yeah, that's about it for Madam Web. Kraven the Hunter. Heading back to the MCU now, let's finally talk about Avengers Endgame. And more accurately, the other Geico ad, which features the... This guy is mowing his lawn and he's being like freaking loud. And more accurately onto the other Geico ad, which features the Geico lizard yielding the Infinity Gauntlet, where instead of eliminating half of life, he helps everybody in the universe save on car insurance. It's a very simple ad compared to the other stuff we've looked at, but it gave us a shot of the Geico lizard wearing the Infinity Gauntlet. It really just never gets better than this. Then on to one that's not really the same kind of marketing we've been looking at, but I need to talk about it anyway. These posters for the film are just some of the best I've ever seen. It was this whole line of different posters posters, which would include different characters who died back in Infinity War, in nothing but black and white, with the tagline, Avenge the Fallen, which just goes so unbelievably hard. And on all the posters with characters who were alive were in full color. I mean, this is just so ungodly effective. It feels like they're advertising an event, which to be fair, that's exactly what Endgame was. Just such a cool and unique thing for this film being the ultimate 11-year-long climax. And while we're on the topic of Endgame, let's talk about how huge it was to not spoil Endgame. Like, this was just the biggest hashtag of all time. Like, genuinely, I can't imagine not seeing this movie completely unspoiled. And my heart goes out to the people in 2019 who had the ending ruined for them. Like, for example, that one guy in China, where after some random guy publicly spoiled the film outside a movie theater, he proceeded to get the absolute piss beat out of him. Which, to be fair, I don't really blame that guy. I mean, if somebody spoiled Fanboy and Chum Chum's cameo for me, I would have kicked ass too. And now here's a bonus entry that's not advertising really whatsoever. But in 2021, a group of fans cobbled together enough funds to get a billboard put up in LA saying, "Bring Tony Stark back to life." Which is just absolutely insane, hilarious, and admirable. Like, what madman would be insane enough to spend so much money and time on this? But I mean, like, question them all you want. They kinda won, didn't they? And now after Endgame, let's finally wrap up the whole Infinity Saga with Spider-Man Far From Home. And how at the world premiere of the film, you could walk under a giant Macy's-sized Spider-Man balloon. It's so neat because it's actually based off the film specifically and not just the generic red and blue. And it's clearly very inspired by the classic Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade Spider-Man. This one measures 80 feet long and is just amazing to look at. I can't imagine what walking under a giant inflatable Tom Holland would be like. Then there's of course the Papa John's promotion. Nothing really crazy about this one other than the fact they changed the box to have Spider-Man on it. I just really wanted to mention it because Papa John's, haha. Oh yeah, also for Far From Home, I found these dope-ass Doritos. Adding this part in later, it turns out that there was a promotional bag of Doritos that isn't a bag of Doritos, and it transforms into like a Spider-Man morph suit. It's like, okay, this is awesome, and there was only like 15 of them made as like a giveaway prize. I want this. But now that finally brings us to the end of the Infinity Saga. 11 years of movies and 11 years of promotions, holy hell. But here's the thing about Marvel, it never ends, even when we want it to. We got 1.5 more phases to go through, so buckle up, buttercups. We're in this one for the long haul. This script is already longer than any of my film reviews, Jesus Christ. And also don't be surprised if I lightning round a few of these. I gotta pick up my bastard son from soccer practice. Secret Invasion can bite me. So starting out with WandaVision, I really like this promotional gift box that was sent out to the press, because it includes this TV guidebook, which was themed after the 1950s, and it of course has Wanda and Vision on the cover of it, advertising a new TV remote, and it just looks so neat. Why they always gotta lock all the in-universe merch behind being a member of the press. But I couldn't find any images of what it looked like on the inside, but I'm assuming it's probably identical to this other variant that was given out in Canada, which has a bunch of little ads for different Disney Plus shows that are streaming both currently and in the future, and it's just a very neat little promotional booklet, and it'll probably be a really cool time capsule to have later down the line. Black Widow! Fortnite. Eternals gave us the worst fucking McDonald's promotion I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. Holy hell, this is so irredeemable. The MCU McDonald's toys they crap out nowadays are already horrendous looking, but you make them of characters nobody give a piss about, we're gonna have a bad time, you feel me? You can't even give away the Marvel Legends of these characters. Who the hell wants these things? Shang-Chi Xbox. Shang-Chi Xbox. No Way Home, finally some good fucking food. They had this cool in-universe newsstand for the Daily Bugle set up in New York for one day, where you could buy this newspaper, which is a fully in-world copy of the Daily Bugle, which goes over Spider-Man's identity, the attacks by multiversal threats, and Liberty Mutual. It's such a neat little thing to promote the movie, and would probably work wonders in a real-life Spider-Man display. Too bad it's expensive as hell on eBay, though. There's also the iconic Hyundai ad, where Tom Holland meets up with the CEO, after hiding out in some hotel room in, like, a cornfield or something. I genuinely don't understand what's happening here. Why is he in, like, Wyoming or some shit? And the two make their way to Doctor Strange's via a 300-mile journey. It's such a weird ad, and it has pretty good production value. I mean, the spider suit looks weird at times, and they probably couldn't afford a New York set. I'm still confused about that, but it's still pretty neat. Then on to Moon Knight. This probably doesn't count, but I want to talk about it anyway. The team actually hid a bunch of QR codes around different episodes of the show, to where if you scanned them, you'd actually be able to get free Moon Knight comics online. I mean, I would say this is like promotion, maybe, kinda, sorta, not really, but probably maybe. I just want to talk about Moon Knight, leave me be. Multiverse of Madness, another umbrella! Yes! 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 Fucking yes! Thor Love and Thunder. They teamed up with Direct Line Insurance to promote Valkyrie or something. They had this ad where Valkyrie senses trouble and is about to straight up murder these two teens for accidentally making a skateboard going to this nice old lady's store after she Sonic Adventure 2s off these grind rails. But she decides to take a break and leave Asgard in the hands of Direct Line Insurance and goes to this boardwalk place and has a grand old time. Good for you, Valkyrie. The movie still kinda stunk though. Moving on to Wakanda Forever, they had a collaboration with the NHS where they encouraged people to go and give blood. I mean, a worthy cause for sure, just not what I immediately think of when I imagine Black Panther. Shuri giving blood, that one gets crossed off the bingo card. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. They made the book that Scott has into a real thing. You can buy it on Amazon. I bought it on Amazon. I didn't read it because books are gay, but I think it's really cool and neat. The whole thing's apparently written in first person, which I appreciate, and it has all different references to other Marvel stuff. A very neat read if you're a loser who likes books. Also, MODOK has nothing to do with this conversation. I just wanted to bring up MODOK. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 teamed up with HelloFresh. Yes, that HelloFresh. In order to bring you a Guardians of the Galaxy themed snack box, and included a recipe to make Zarg nuts. This is fucking huge. I'm genuinely sad I missed this. I want to eat Zarg nuts so bad. HelloFresh, you gotta sponsor me. We can work something out, please. The Marvels. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I'm gonna be real, I don't even think they wanted this movie to come out. I mean, they tried to hype this thing up by putting footage of all the other Avengers right in the beginning of the trailer. It's like it doesn't get more desperate than that, Chief. Other than that, let's see, at New York Comic Con last year, I got to see the suits they used in the movie. They had the props on display. Rock and roll McDonald. And finally, we're here. The last film and the most current Marvel movie to be released in theaters. That, of course, being Deadpool and Wolverine. This film's marketing budget seemed to be pretty big, since I think Marvel knew this was pretty much their comeback story, so they wanted to ensure that everybody saw this film, which they did, thank God. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the iconic Wolverine popcorn bucket that was designed by Deadpool himself, as well as stuff like the Heinz ketchup, the Bootylicious Xbox controllers, Old Spice, and my personal favorite, the characters showing up at Disneyland. I'm talking about it here because the Deadpool actor is peak, and they clearly love this guy too. I mean, he can literally just go off the rails and do some random tangent in front of innocent small children. They know this man's untouchable. Plus, they had him come out with Logan while he was riding an inflatable unicorn while Bye 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 by NSYNC was playing. Literally the greatest thing Disney has ever done for society. And there you go. There's everything. There's a comprehensive look at pretty much all the marketing for every MCU film ever. I kind of swept the shows on the rug because there wasn't really much to talk about, I'm gonna be honest. They made so many of these things, I don't think marketing was their biggest concern. I saw a Miss Marvel billboard in real life one time. Okay, it wasn't this one, but I found this while editing this last part. I guess they did this Welcome to New Jersey one with Kamala on it. That's cool. There's your bonus fact, I guess. And the She-Hulk bench at California Adventure gives me unfiltered joy. But if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing. This video is like 13 pages long. I'm begging you, I gotta eat. I know there's obviously a lot more to talk about with stuff like the Sony and Fox films, so maybe I can come back to this at a later date. But if you enjoyed this one, thank you very much for watching. The channel's really been making a name for itself recently, which is pretty cool. And thank you for listening to me ramble about Marvel stuff. I like doing that. If you got any more stupid ideas for future deep dives like this, let me know in the comments down below. And without any further ado, I made a tier list of which Marvel films had Dr. Pepper promotions and which ones don't. Look at it, it's cool.